Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Eagle Eye Podcast. This is episode 17. Wow, we've come a long way. 17 episodes in, and we're going to be talking about the frustrating and humiliating defeat against Puebla, and we'll be previewing Saturday's matchup against Santos Laguna, and maybe look forward to possibly a better show of football from our team. But before I go any further, let me introduce my man, my co-host, Mr. Dylan Jimenez. Dylan, how are we?
We're doing good, man. Everything's good down here in Texas.
All right. Sun shining over there?
The sun is shining, but we're supposed to get some rain tomorrow.
Look at that. Mother Nature's going to be giving you guys a little bit of water. While over here in sunny California, well, that pretty much says it. Sunny all around. But this is not the weather forecast podcast. This is the Eagle Eye podcast. And we're going to be talking everything Club America. We're going to be discussing that humiliating defeat against Puebla. Because let's face it, there's no other way to put it. It's a horrible, horrible defeat that we take against Los Camoteros. I want to say that's the nickname. Do not bash me if it's not. I'm sorry, people. And then, of course, we're going to be look forward to the game against Santos on Saturday, which ultimately will close out the regular season, the regular tournament for America. And then we'll look forward into the Liga because guess what? We are qualified. No matter what, America will be in the Liga. And we'll definitely be talking about that and what our aspirations are. And yeah, you ready to go into this?
Yeah, man, let's do this.
All right, let's go. Let's jump into it. But before anything, we want to say thank you to every single one of you guys who have joined us and also who have followed us, who have, followed us on Twitter. Like I said, we are going to be doing that giveaway very, very soon. Dylan already posted up kind of like the artwork that we were going to be doing for the phone case giveaway. And of course, we're going to be giving away a scarf as well. So make sure you guys, if you haven't, do follow us on Twitter. This is going to be the last week before we kind of close out that window, and then we'll be picking up one random follower to receive those items. So thank you so much to everyone who's already following us on Twitter, and if you aren't, our handle is at Eagle Eye Pod. Now, with that said, let's jump into what was Friday's, well, no other way to put it, absolutely terrible matchup against Puebla. Dylan, we came into this game with very high expectations, with the motive, with the sentiments that we can go into Puebla and get the results needed. Even though we had 3 key players out due to injury, we had this feeling that no matter what, this team was capable of getting all 3 points against Puebla. And let's face it, Puebla was coming off like 5 games that they had recently, lost, and in the last 2 games they had conceded 3+ goals. So it looked like we were the heavy favorites coming into this matchup. Dylan? Okay.
Okay, I was losing you a little bit.
Okay, go. Sorry.
It keeps lagging. I didn't hear your question still.
Okay. Basically just we were the favorites coming into this. We didn't really showcase it. How was it, how did you come into this game feeling after what we were talking about?
Well, you see the starting 11, which we'll probably go over after I give you this briefing. But you see it and you think, this is a team that can still get the job done. We bragged about this team. We mentioned how depth the squad is, and we've seen the players step up that needed to step up too whenever those injuries hit us too as well. And still, yeah, there are some players that are still not stepping up to the plate. It just seems to be like it's still 1 or 2 players when it needs to be the whole 11 on the pitch. And it's not the whole 11 on the pitch that's playing the game. It just seems like we're still relying on 1 to 2 players. And that's just not good for the team overall. And, people can say too, well, whenever we get Cecilio, whenever we get Henry, whenever we get Menez back, it would be a whole different story. But that shouldn't be the case. We should still have the players performing week in and week out still, and not having to go through something like this too as well.
No, I agree. It shouldn't be the case. I think we have the talent pool, we have the squad depth, and especially against Puebla. I mean, no disrespect to Puebla whatsoever. I think they have a very good team and a very good manager, but they were kind of in this rut, in this slump. And the fact that, they come and play against us, it's like, it's like they throw all that out the window and they play a really good game against us. So you'd expect the team that's out there, the team that gets fielded, to go out there and perform, and really no one actually did. I mean, everyone was pretty disappointing, and I mean everyone. I mean, even those people that say, well, Linus, I thought he was very, subpar. I didn't think he had a good game. I just think everyone really in general was didn't have a good game. I think Paul Aguilar had a horrible game. I think just in general, everyone did not make the cut. I feel like there was just no one out there that said, I'm gonna step up for my team. I'm gonna go forward, and I'm gonna push us to go through. And there was no one out there on the pitch. There was no sense of leadership. There was no sense of, we need to get back into this. It was just kind of like, it is what it is, and that's pretty much it. And that's just a poor way to go about this game.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, you have Oribe on the pitch, but I mean, you kind of question where his leadership's kind of been. Not necessarily the whole season. I mean, but like you see it. I mean, we've said it time and time again. Oribe's on the decline. There's nobody stepping up. I mean, if you were to bench Oribe, I mean, who are you gonna give the captain's armband to? I mean, obviously, it's probably going to go to Pau Aguilar, but I mean, really, like, would you give it to him? With the way I guess you could say his outings have been recently. Um, I mean, who knows? I mean, there's nobody really seems to be stepping up, and that's something that we're lacking too.
Yeah, no, that's just the frustrating part. Let's talk lineup. Before we jump in any further, let's talk what America fielded out on the field last Friday. So Marshall was in goal, and it was back four: Paolo Aguilar, Bruno Valdez, Emma Aguilera, and Carlos Vargas. And in the midfield, you had Guido with Mateus Uribe. Out wide, you had Renato Ibarra with Diego Lainez. Up top, it was Ibargüen with Uribe Peralta. Seeing that lineup against the Puebla side, you thought, wow, we should be good. There should be no reason why we should lose 3-1. Absolutely joke of a match. You look at the players that were out there, you compare them to the players that Puebla are going to have. You were still the better side on paper, and you should have still been the better side on the pitch.
And it wasn't. I mean, like we said, you see this team play, and the team keeps playing the same way. I mean, do you really blame it entirely on the team? No, I mean, I still don't think you do. I still think you still put some blame on Piojo too as well. I mean, the blame could go 50-50. I mean, the way the players performed on the pitch was not good enough. Piojo, I mean, yeah, he put out the best lineup that we have right now. But still, I mean, Piojo still uses the same thing. We still go through Renato Ibarra, and what does that do? It doesn't do nothing for us still. I mean, it's very predictable. The attack's still very predictable. The attack is very lacking right now. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's just how it is. It's going to be. I mean, nobody wants to step up, and then that's the way Piojo's going to do it still.
Now, I don't know if we should put that much blame on Piojo, because I feel like this is more of a defeat that where you put more blame on the players and the manager itself, even though the manager is always going to get the stake for whatever the result may be. I think Piojo fielded the best option that we had, and sought to just said, here's what we got. Let's go out there, let's perform. Now, whether or not his tactics were questionable or not, I feel like he planted the team right. I think after then, the players should have been able to go and follow through his tactics. And if something wasn't working, be smart, be creative enough to say, this isn't working for 20-25 minutes. Let's switch it up. Let's do something different. And no one really had a creativity. There was no spark on the pitch. And Diego Lainez usually is that spark, but Puebla had him a little bit on check. He seemed a little bit tentative at times. It wasn't so much of a fluid side that I wanted to see. It was very rigid. It was very interrupt at times. That there was just this sense of, let's just go out there and get a goal back, no matter how we get it, and because of that, we left spaces open. We were just sloppy. Our passing wasn't there. I mean, it's just some of these players started becoming ghosts on the pitch. I mean, you saw the likes of Uribe Peralta. I mean, did he do anything in those 90 minutes that you said, wow, he was just so unlucky not to score?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even remember, besides Renato's goal, any clear chances that we had.
That was the issue. That's the issue, that we cannot be missing three players, Henry, Menes, and Cecilio Dominguez, and still not be able to score goals. And I was reading an article by ESPN. And they were saying the things that America was kind of, the reason why they're lacking. And they specifically went to talk about the the goal drought, you know, and they made the reference that we start things off really good in the season, but when it comes down to finishing it, we kind of just start fading away, and that can't happen. We've said it before, and to the people that we talk about this to, we've mentioned it. It looks like it's the ghost of Apertura past.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the repeat all over. I mean, you see what Piojo did. He did pretty decent job with the lineup that he had in Apertura, but now you see what he's got now in this season. I mean, you would think he would do better, which, I mean, can you say that he is? I mean, that's pretty debatable to me if you were to talk about that. But still, I understand what you're coming from. Like, if the players can see it on the pitch too. If something's not working, you got to switch it up too as well. I mean, I can understand that coming from the players, but at the end of the day too, I mean, well, Piojo's not doing nothing different anyways to start the game. Piojo's still got questionable tactics, and sometimes it's gonna have to come down to him to step up and tell the players to do something different too as well. Yeah. I mean, I understand you saying like we can't put the whole blame on Piojo. I'm just kind of repeating myself a little bit, but that's still. I mean, what has changed from then? I mean, we like we keep saying, we still see players go through Nothing About It, because that's what Nothing About It does. And I mean, we really have no end product until the last minute of the game whenever he finally scores a goal.
Yeah, it seems that the players themselves have no little to no creative energy. I mean, if Bjorko's tactic is that, and all they're doing is trying to execute that without really trying to do anything else differently, my question is why are you not trying to explore different venues, different angles, different options, And we kind of did that during the second half, but that didn't work out so well either. But I think your hat goes off to Puebla too, who kind of capitalized on our poor gaming, and they scored their goal early, mind you, and after that just kind of just dictated the game, not in a very subtle way, but they kind of let us have the ball at times, and they kind of invited us but closed down the spaces very well. And this is the part that got me so mad. It's just there was no one out there willing to try to break that kind of defensive line from Puebla. I never saw anyone really try to take a shot from outside the box. Sometimes you have to get those chances. The goalkeeper might give a rebound and you get it from there. That there's just so much stuff we could have done that just wasn't even really attempted at all. And to some of the first 45 minutes, I mean, it was just poor in general from us.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and read through some of the stats, because I told you I was pulling up those stats. But just to get that out there, people who are listening right now too, and people who are listening via iTunes and SoundCloud too. I'm getting this off from SofaScore. We had a total of 21 shots, only 6 of those shots being on target. We completed 85% of our passes, and toward the end of the game, it was 50% possession. I mean, whenever you hit those stats, Ivan, what does that say to you?
Repeat the first one.
The shots?
Yeah.
Yeah, 21 total shots, 6 of them on target.
21 total shots, 6 on target. That speaks to me that actually that feels a little bit misleading. Only because it makes you think that America was just kind of on top and had chance after chance after chance, and we were just kind of blowing it wide. It didn't really seem like that at all.
Yeah, no, I mean I mean, this is from SofaScore, just to repeat myself, but I mean, it's just you can't remember one clear cut chance that they really had besides, I mean, Renato's goal. I mean, there's really not. I mean, can you recall a time somebody had a clear cut chance, but just missed it apparently?
No, 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 no. You know, and then a lot of people will mention too, like, oh, what about the referee? He kind of was against us, this and that. Look, I get that. But that's something you can't control. That's really something that is out of your out of your controlling factor. Like, you can't decide whether the referee is gonna have a good game or not. You can only just keep going and playing your game. I think some players just got real desperate, real frustrated, and who knows what the reason is behind it, because this is a team that looks like, granted, we're still in the race for the title. This team looks like it's a team that's just mid-table, has nothing to aspire to, just wants to get the season over with and recollect themselves and just go on vacation. This doesn't look like a team that says we're still in the playoffs, we still have the opportunity to go and contest for the title. This team doesn't look like that to me.
Not even that. I mean, we still have a chance to move up in the table too, as well.
It's frustrating, and really there's only a couple of players out there on the pitch that actually, kind of showcase that, they're hungry, that they still want to go out and fight. And that's Marchesín, that's Linus, and that's pretty much it. I don't There was no one out there really that kind of gave you that energy that, hey, I'm here and I'm trying to do my best. Everyone else was just kind of nonchalant about the situation.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, I mean, like I said, it's got to be all 11 players, man. If you can find 11 players that want to go out there and they're hungry, man, I mean, you're gonna line them up. I mean, because these are the players that are gonna play together. I mean, you can't just expect to go to United Ibarra all the time, man. You can't just expect to just have that one thing. I mean, you're gonna have to find somebody who's gonna bring that creativity to string all the passes together and um to have everybody in the play too, what it feels like if necessary. I mean, it's got to be 11 players from the start of the whistle to the end of the game, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. And a lot of people are going to be talking about maybe Piojo should leave, and this is something I touched about last podcast too. This is a process. You want structure, you want something that will last and be very successful for a very long time. You kind of have to let this process kind of go. Whether or not we raise a title within a year's time, that's a whole different situation. But I think we're going in the right trajectory. I think Piojo slowly is building his team, is molding his team. And really after the first year, then we can kind of judge him a little bit more difficult. But it's barely gonna be a full year of him kind of being an America coach again. So just maybe ease off on that. But there is some players that are questionable that whether or not they will continue. But I don't think this is the right time to start kind of picking away the team. We still have that option to scale higher in the league table, which would be absolutely amazing because it gives you that kind of advantage on home and away games. And then of course you still have the opportunity to go and lift the title. You still have the playoffs to kind of focus on. So if you kind of start depicting the team, if you start kind of just plucking away at it, then really you're basically lining yourself for defeat if you're doing that. If you can only imagine that if we're doing that already, can you imagine the board already kind of making those decisions and kind of giving off that vibe to the players? I don't think that's the right move to make just yet. Let's get through Santos. Let's get through the Liga, and let's see whether or not on the other side we can come out being champions.
Yeah, and I mean, still, I mean, you gotta understand. People gotta understand too that there's still some spots to fill too in this team. There's still a lot of spots that we can strengthen too, and there's gonna be some moves in the off season too. Whether players leave, whether being players in. So I mean, like you said, it's a process too. It's just not finished yet, and people need to understand that too as well.
So then we continue the game, and Puebla scores that second goal, and then after they score the second goal, they score that third goal. It was just embarrassing. It was just embarrassing to see your team just kind of just fold the way that America did.
And the back line that started so strong too to the season.
For them to
I
go
mean,
and concede 3 against Puebla, Puebla said that granted they've had their own problems of scoring goals.
yeah, exactly. And I think if I read the stats right, I think Marchesín just had one save all game.
Yeah, it was just
I
it
mean,
was
but
pathetic.
I
It was
mean,
pathetic.
like I'm not trying to put a lot of I'm not trying to put blame on Marchesín, but still, I mean, you see the guy make spectacular saves too as well.
Yeah, it was just not a night for anyone out there on the pitch for America.
No.
I mean, even Renato's goal, which is an absolute golazo, just he scores that, and I'm just like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not the way you expected the game to go. I mean, like we said, you see the lineup, you expect a different outcome. You expected 3 points. I mean, regardless if the Liga spot is clinched or not.
I expected a way different America in the second half, but they just got worse.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely did, man. I mean, no, I didn't feel it, man. Nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to go out there and try to take control of the game to put the team on their back and show that they can come out and do this. But I mean, it came in a win, man. I mean, what can you do? I mean, we can't go back in time to change it. I mean, we just got to focus on now. We got to focus on Santos and get ready for the Liga now.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we can do. I guess really just put this behind us and just kind of cement kind of more of a solidarity as a whole, as a team, and just kind of keep moving forward. Um, I mean, really, ultimately, you can only categorize this as a pathetic loss, as a horrible display of what this team really is and can be. And you just kind of take the licking and you keep on ticking.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do, man. At this point.
So hopefully that kind of maybe puts things in perspective. Cause I just hate seeing this team kind of fall apart towards the end of the final, towards the end. Really, it really is just towards the end. Like, just pick yourself up. Hopefully this puts the mindset of these players in perspective, and just kind of gets them going. Cause trust me, we're gonna need a really good game against Santos to get 3 points. Even though we're at home, it's gonna be a very difficult game.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, despite how you see it whenever they play Pumas. I mean, look at the stance. Santos outclassed Pumas in almost any category, it seemed like, but still, I mean, Santos is going to get it done.
So that's gonna be a very good game, and we're definitely gonna keep a close eye on that. But pretty much just to wrap up Pumas, no, excuse me, Pumas, to wrap up the Puebla game, just a pathetic defeat, just a pathetic display of football from us. But you'd hope that this kind of puts the team in perspective, and that's really the only positive we can get out of. I mean, pretty much. I mean, no one really deserved a good rating. There's no standout player for me. I don't know if there was a standout player for you on the pitch.
No,
During
I
the
mean, yeah, I got you now. I heard you, but no, I mean, they're really not. I mean, because like it's just the same thing over and over, man. I guess you could say if anything, Renato Ibarra. I mean, because Renato Ibarra had the lone goal, and I mean, really there was no end product for the guy until the end of the game. But if I had to choose somebody, it would be him. But at the end of the day, I mean, there was really nobody, man.
Yeah, pretty much. So, we're gonna give that one 2 thumbs down, and hopefully that will make sure that the team goes and gets forward. Pretty much it. That pretty much does it for our Puebla review. It was horrible. It was terrible. We don't want to talk about it anymore because we don't want to ever hear about it again. And hopefully the team could put that past us like a ponytail, whatever that may be. So, that's pretty much it.
Ponytail.
Yeah, behind us like a ponytail.
Ponytail. Just thinking of horses and you go horseback riding.
Well, that or
And
yeah.
the tail. The tail.
Yes, that's what people
So,
come here for the Eagle Eye podcast to know everything about ponytails, horses, cattle ranching, and the weather. So, we're keeping people up to date. All right. So let's talk Santos. But before I jump into Santos, I want to remind you guys that we are on iTunes and SoundCloud. So if you guys ever miss a live show for whatever reason, you guys can always go back and check it out. And you guys can take us on the go. So if you guys have somewhere to go pretty far, like it's an hour away, just pop us in, and we'll get you through the ride. We'll get you through the ride, and you'll be able to be a little bit closer to the America community while you are driving. So make sure you guys do follow us on SoundCloud and subscribe to us on iTunes so you guys never miss a show for whatever reason. And huge thanks to everyone who's listened to us so far on iTunes and SoundCloud, because we broke the 1,000 listener threshold on SoundCloud, which was an absolutely amazing kind of achievement that you guys have been able to make possible. So thank you guys for your support and for listening, and for everyone who has SoundCloud. I wish I had the numbers for iTunes. I really do. Unfortunately, I'm not really able to get that at the moment. But I can only imagine you guys are killing it on there as well. So thank you guys for growing. Thank you guys for helping us out, and thank you guys for making this community just that much more amazing. I know me and Dylan really, really appreciate the fact that you guys are listening to two people that probably don't even know what they're talking about.
Hey man, I mean, you saw me on that trivia night that we had in that group chat. So I mean,
Yeah, so we'll talk trivia night a little bit later, right before we close the podcast, because we have some exciting news for you guys as well. So just wanted to let you guys know again, thank you. And of course, because of that, we're also going to be doing that giveaway. Make sure you guys do follow us on Twitter at Eagle iPod. And let's jump into our preview for this Saturday's matchup. It's going to be America at home hosting Santos Laguna, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Central time, 10 p.m. for those of you in the East Coast. A little late game, and then really just our last game really before we kind of close out the season. And as anticipated before, it's going to be a very important game.
yeah, I mean, it really is, because I mean, not only taking momentum into the Liga, but we still got a chance to move up in the table as well. So it's not we're not necessarily locked in that fifth spot. We have a Liga spot, but we can still move up in the table too as well. And who knows? Maybe Santos, they're on a little bit of basketball too, only winning one in their last 5 games, coming off a 2-game losing streak too right now, coming into the Azteca.
But you know what? I kind of don't want to talk about that, because we said that against Puebla. We said that against so many teams throughout this whole season, and it looks like none of that ever matters, because whenever they play against America, they for some reason throw all of that to the side and say we're gonna play our best game ever. I was talking to one of our good friends and listeners on the podcast. I was talking to him and kind of mentioned that it doesn't really matter who we're playing up against, because it's always going to be a tough game. There's never been an easy, quote unquote, easy team that we've played, because everyone goes out there and kind of steps it up. And it's up to us whether or not we step up to the occasion as well. So even though Santos is in this kind of quote unquote rut, they're going to go out there and they're going to perform to a high standard, because it's against America, because they want to just, be able to say we beat America at their home stadium. And because of that, they're in 6th place, you know? So regardless of what you may hear throughout the week, that America's coming in at maybe a little bit of more of a favorite, or that Santos is having a really bad end of the season, whatever the case may be, do not pay attention to it. Just know that America is going to come into this matchup looking for 3 points. Santos is going to be coming into this matchup looking for those 3 points as well. And Santos is going to play up to an even better level than they've been showcasing. So just kind of want to just kind of say that. And by saying that, how do you feel coming into this matchup, Dylan?
Nerve-wracking, man. Because when's the last time we can really say that we've seen all 11 players perform on the pitch well together? It's probably been a while. And so, you got no Mateus Uribe due to suspension with his red card. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this game is lined up. And I don't know if you've heard anything about Menez coming back yet for this game, since, we were expecting him last Friday, but yeah, he still wasn't ready for that game. So, I don't know if you've heard anything about Menez coming back for Saturday's game against Santos.
So there is a possibility that all 3 of our injured players may be back for the Santos game. There's a picture of them 3 training to the side, and there's a very good high possibility that they could all be ready, if not at least one of the 3. I wouldn't be surprised though if they all kind of make a recuperation, but they do not all start. I would imagine we'd see them come off the bench, all 3 of them. I don't expect any of these players to really be 100% fit for the game. I just expect them to be on the bench, really.
Yeah, that's where I kind of expect them to be too as well. Just a matter of fact of like this Piojo, How many does Bioho use all three of his subs for them just so they can get some game time before the Liga, so they can get their feet wet a little bit, or or does he just substitute like one, two, maybe that's it going into this game too, so they can get their feet wet too? I'd imagine he's subbing Menes, to say the least, at least Menes.
Yeah, yeah. I would imagine depending on how the game goes and how the play dictates, it's whether or not we'll see all three of them. If we need a goal, if we're really desperate, then yes, we're gonna throw in all of them. But I at least expect to see Jeremy Menez back. That's at least the one player like you said.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, like you see Menace make his debut, and then you see how he does, and then as the season goes on, he gets to start, and he gets to start what it seems like would have been week in and week out if it wasn't for his injury. And so I feel like Menace is going to be that key player that's going to come back into the starting 11 whenever that time comes.
Yeah, hopefully that time comes pretty soon. Hopefully it's in the first leg of the first matchup in the Liga because we could definitely use a Jeremy Menace type player to kind of move certain pieces around the pitch.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I mean, like people say, I mean, it can make a difference. It can. I feel like Men is obviously showing his flashes that he can do stuff, you know, at the beginning whenever he first made his debut, and then we've seen it too whenever it was going strong. And hopefully that Menez and Oribe Peralta partnership is still there too, because you definitely saw that growing a lot too before Menez's injury.
Yeah, hopefully that will prove to be a good thing to do on the pitch once these players kind of come out and and kind of show a different face. I
Mm-hmm.
I, I want to see this team just be a better team. Let's be that team that we were beating Morelia 4-1. Well, did we beat Morelia 4-1 or 3-1? 3-1. We beat
I
Morelia
thought
3-1.
one.
We were beating Lobos 5-1. Let's just be that team again where we were just kind of running over teams.
Mm-hmm.
I get it that
Yeah,
the Conca champions kind of derailed us a little bit. But we should be better than that. Hopefully we will be better than that, and uh, hopefully we get that victory on Saturday, so we kind of go into this Liga with a little bit under our belt because you mentioned we have the we have the opportunity to get second place if Tigres de Monterrey draw, correct?
yeah, and we got to win by two goals.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
2 goals. We got to win by 2 goals against Santos, and Tigres de Monterrey had to draw.
So that you know what? At this point of the season, 2 goals sounds like a lot for us.
It really does, but kind of like you said too. Whenever I mentioned Santos being in the front, it's Liga MX. Anything could happen too.
For
Like you
example,
said,
America versus Puebla.
yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, even then too. With the way it is right now, we can still surpass like Tigres if we were to draw Santos and Tigres lose to Monterrey. I'm looking at the table right now, but yeah, if America was to lose, we're not moving from fifth. We're gonna stay at fifth. We can possibly go to fourth. We can go to second. Those are the only options.
So we're either going second, fifth, or fourth.
Yes.
There's no other way
Yeah.
about it.
No. Yeah. Because like I said, if Tigres lose, they're gonna stay at 27, and if we draw, then we'll go to 27. But I think we'll be ahead on Tigres in goal differential too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that really puts things in perspective now.
Yeah, but we're definitely not gonna go below the fifth place spot.
I would like to stay at least fourth place because that means you would you would get the second leg at the Azteca.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's something that we can calculate at the moment when we live tweet and we talk about the games and all that stuff. But I think first priority, go
Yeah,
out there on the pitch and perform
yeah,
and get your goals.
yeah. You're gonna have to, man, because I mean, like I said, not only taking momentum into the Liga, but also you're fighting for a spot too,
Yeah,
a better spot.
a better spot is exactly a better spot because right now we're qualified. If
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
you're qualified.
if that was the end game, then this match wouldn't matter. But we know how the Liga works, and the higher you're in the table, the better your chances are of obtaining the title.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true.
Okay, so let's talk the game Saturday. Give me your predictive lineup. Now that we talked about how we're going into this and how we're not 100% that confident. Because let's be honest, how can you be confident after what America's displayed in the last couple of weeks? Now that we know that we're a little bit tentative in this matchup, how do you see this team lining up against, let's face it, a pretty good Santos side?
I really feel like Behold's gonna stick with this lineup, but besides the fact of Uribe, I feel like he's gonna stick Edson there. So just kind of like just to name it all out to you would be Marchesín in goal, Bo Aguilar, Bruno Valdez, Aguilera, Vargas, Edson, Guido, Renato, and Linus on left and right, and then Ibargüen and Peralta up top.
You know what? I'm going again exactly 100% that lineup as well. I think it's just gonna be Edson slotting in that midfield role.
I mean, again, you look at it. I mean, this really is the strongest squad that we got at the moment. I mean, obviously, we getting some key players coming back from injury, but they're not going to start because they're not going to be 100% fit, and that's the best 11 we could put out right now.
Do you think I kind of already kind of know the answer, but do you have confidence in this lineup to go out there and get those 2 goals and get that victory?
Kind of a yes and a no. I mean, if we can find another way to be creative, which I mean is really hard at this point of the season that we've seen from the team, then yeah, I think we can. But I mean, if we're gonna go stick with Renato Ibarra, going down the right the whole time and this and that, then no. I mean, I really don't see us getting those 2 goals.
Now let's talk a little bit about that. I'm glad you bring up that creativity since what do we have to do differently? What do you think is the answer? Knowing that those are going to be our 11 players, not that we're confirming the lineup here, but knowing that could most likely be the starting 11. How do you fix this goal drought?
I mean, man, really, it just, I mean, like you said, I mean, it comes down to the players and it comes down to Piojo himself too as well. I mean, it's like we said over and time again. It just seems like Piojo's throwing the lineup out there and say, okay, play the ball to Renato, I mean, and just go for it. But I mean, man, he's got to see what's going on the pitch too as well. The players got to come back and tell him too what's going on the pitch. If they're seeing something that Santos is doing, they feel like somebody can go out and maybe pull apart this back line, or whether it be taking a few more passes needed than just taking a shot or just trying to give a lazy cross, man. I mean, at the end of the day, man, it needs to come down to having better decisions in the final third, which is something you've been preaching all season too as well. I mean, don't be afraid to take that extra pass, man. Don't be afraid to really take on a player too, which we know Renato Ibarra, Diego Linus, and Andres Ibargüen can do too as well, and that could open a lot of things too up, man. So I mean, really, don't be scared to try something new at this point, to be honest.
Yeah. Creativity. That's the answer to this. Being creative, being on your toes, being able to do something that isn't foreseen by the other side. And I think Renato Ibarra can have that. I've seen him. Go directly down the wing, cut inside, go, play that 1-2 pass. Exactly what you want to see. But now the teams know we play through him a lot more. They guard him a little bit better, and they know kind of our end game. So this time, let's play down the middle if we can. If not, let's give Linus the opportunity to cut inside and run down the middle or go out wide and get some crosses in. Just be a little bit more creative. Take that outside, that 18-yard shot. This could easily end with a Guido golazo like in the Apertura. It could easily end up being that. So just go out there and prove a point. go out there with a point to prove. That's all I ask.
And Bargy lad, please play smart. Let's do some good things this time.
Yeah, yeah. Paul needs to have a better game. I mean, against Puebla, he could. How is he up there so much? Is it's frustrating, and a lot of people will probably think I'm crazy for saying this, but I think his time at America is up. I think it's time we start focusing on another right back. We obviously need another left back because we don't have one. Let's face it, he's we knew how undisciplined he could be. Now it's not he could be indisciplined. Now it's he is so indisciplined in his tactic and in his tactical formation and his player formation that he's just all over the pitch, and you cannot have that from your right back because what Ibarra does is he covers for Paul very well. And since Paul goes up a lot and he kind of leaves that space open, Ibarra is then forced to kind of stay back to prevent the counterattack. And if you're doing that, you're kind of, isolating Ibarra from doing his thing. And, I think Paul needs to be a little smarter, play smarter, not go on those crazy wild runs and be a little bit smarter. He's old enough, he's got enough experience that he knows how to play this game smart. I think he just goes out there just to go out there.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, you see what he can do too as well. He's a very overlapping winger. Not winger, but a fullback too as well. You see him make those forward runs. You see him sending some crosses too as well. But the way what he did against Puebla, was just ridiculous a little bit, man. It was a little bit too much than what you've actually seen him do. And like you said, it's just his tactical positioning too. It's just going haywire. You might as well, if you're gonna have a spot for him, you might as well just tell him to free roam the whole time. It seems like.
Yeah. It's because Paulo works so well in a back line of five because he's that wing back. So he has that liberty to go forward because there's always going to be someone that's going to kind of be, guarding that space, whether it be one of the center backs or a center mid. So he has to understand now we're playing with a 4-4-2, not a 5-3-2. If it was a 5-3-2, then go ahead, do what you got to do, be that kind of winger in a sense because that's kind of your role. But now he needs to be a little bit smarter.
Yeah, it really does. And then, because Bill's not playing with that 5-back line he did in the first stint.
No. No, and let's not even bring that up because he'll hear it and he'll probably line it up on Saturday.
Yeah, Bill, don't do that. Please don't listen to me no more.
Don't bring that back five. Not yet. We don't have the team for back five. We thrive on that 4-4-2.
Although is it even a 4-4-2 anymore?
Otherwise.
But is it really a 4-4-2 at this point?
No.
Sometimes it seems like a 4-2-3-1, 4-5-1, 4-2-3-1. That's how you look at it. Yeah.
No, and it probably will be a 4-2-3-1 because we're gonna have two center defensive mids because, as much as we like Edson in that midfield role, he tends to be a little bit adventurous at times, but usually will stick to his position.
Yeah, which has its pros and cons, but I think we can say more cons a little bit too. Not cons, but pros.
Yeah,
because Guido can do the work of two.
Yeah, which is why I would imagine Edson have the liberty to go forward. Let's just see whether or not he can take this, to the advantage.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
So, we talked about kind of what the team needs to do now. It's the Santos team, of course. They know what they have to do too, and I think what is it that we need to do defensively to make sure that the Santos team cannot hurt us?
Man, we got to go back to the first week. We got to go back to the basics, man. Piojo's got to put it in their minds that they need to be the back line they were whenever the season first started. Because I know it can be that way, man. I know it's there. But why it's messing up, I do not know why, man. And I know it could do great things. I know Guido can come out and have a good game too as well, playing in that CDM role because it seems like Guido just sits in front of them a lot of times and sometimes too. It seems like Guido will just go back in between them too as well if it's needed, and I know this can go. I know the back line can do great things, man. We just got to go out and show it. And I feel like Santos would be a good test for us to show it that this back line is good, is great, the way it was in the beginning too.
I'm just worried about the left back position.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I still at the end of the day, man. I mean, Carlos Vargas is gonna be there. I mean, we talked about it too. How you feel like whenever Piojo feels Vargas because he started Vargas at Tijuana too, and then like you said, Piojo and Volpe don't really necessarily get along. Maybe I mean at the end of the day too, man. I mean, we got what we got. We've seen what this back line can do too as well, and so it's just time to show it too as well, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it. We make do with what we got, and Carlos Vargas can do a good job. It's
And
just lately he just hasn't been pulling his weight around, and I think because of that, he's maybe pulling the team down in its the back line specifically because
mhm.
they kind of have to worry about that a little bit more than if you kind of just worried about your own job than having to worry about your teammates' job.
Yeah. No, I get you, man. But I mean, if Piojo can do some things with the team that he had in Apertura, man, then I feel like he can embed to them what they did at the beginning of the season from now on to the Liga.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Well, with all of that said, what is your prediction for Saturday?
Um, I'm gonna go with the 2-1 win again.
2-1 win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go adventurous. I'm saying 2-0.
Okay.
And whether we'll be right, we probably won't because I feel like we suck at predicting. It's not our strong suit. Not to say that anything that we talk about is our strong suit here, but um I just think this America side has it in them. Just go out there and prove it, showcase it. Do what you got to do. Be there and showcase why you want to be a title contender. Then
Yeah,
work your way from there.
yeah, man. I mean, these guys might be in the 20s, 30s, man. But I mean, go out, guys. Just go out there, and they also got to know let's to have fun with it too. I mean, be that 10-year-old self that had fun playing it too as well, and then that'd make it fun. I know it's hard to play simple, but it make it simpler, it make it easy, and make it fun. And I don't. There's no doubt in my mind this team can really connect back together to be the team that it was at the beginning of the season too.
That's right, and that's right, and let's specifically talk because there was rumors, and then a report came out that the locker room was divided. That there was a certain since Pablo Aguilar left, there was really no leader, no captain holding down the fort in the locker room, and they said that there was a player, a Mexican player in America that was tearing the team kind of apart in the locker room. A player that is a little bit untouchable at the moment in America. And that's pretty much all the reporter could say. When this comes out, because we read about this and we kind of discussed this a little bit too. What do you think? Is this a viable source? Do you think this is true? Is this just kind of fake news in in a sense, or is this really something to concern us about, especially leaning towards the end of the season?
I mean, I don't want to say it's. I mean, not me say it, but I don't want to think it's true. I don't really think it's true, but if the rumors are true, then it's really not good for the team. It's not good for the morale at the moment. I mean, because you see the team. I mean, we'll say it time and time again. You see the way this team's been playing. I mean, it's not good, and you don't see what feels like 11 players on the pitch. I mean, regardless, nobody's stepping up. Oribe, Piojo obviously coming out saying that he's worried about his call up. I mean, to be honest, man, I don't really see why Oribe's even worried about that. I mean, if he didn't get the hint that he was called up in the March friendlies, then what do you got to worry about, man? I mean, like really though, and so I don't really see why that's bothering Oribe. Um, and he's our captain too, man. I mean, you expect Oribe to step up a lot and Oliva to take hold, a really, really experienced player in the Liga MX too as well. It just sucks to hear something like that, but I really don't think that's true.
Yeah, I hope it's not true either. I want to tell myself it's not true, and if it is, hopefully the team can put that to an end and kind of just get past that and deal with the situation after the season and hopefully after you're champions. So, hopefully it's not true. Just wanted to bring that up because I know this is news that was kind of floating around in the America world. And hopefully it's just that it's fake news in a sense. And it's not a viable source and it's not a viable, thing that's actually going on. So, you know, we'll leave it at that and let's hope for a good game. So we predict an America win. I'm hopefully assuming you guys all predict an America win also. So we'll be very excited to bring you guys that live coverage. We'll be live tweeting that game. So make sure you guys do follow us on Twitter because we got you guys covered for everything during match day. We have lineups, we have predictions, we have everything you could ask for and interactions with you guys as well, which makes it even more of a fun time. So if you guys haven't done so, make sure you guys do follow us on Twitter and make a Twitter because promise you're gonna find a lot of America friends on there. So you guys can always follow us at Eagle Eye Pod. That's all together at Eagle Eye Pod, and we'll be live tweeting that. It should be interesting. It should be a fun game, a very nerve-wracking game. But I think me and you both have confidence in this team that they can pull it around and at least get the W.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, I really think we can, man. Like we said, 11 players got to go out and play as the team, man. That's it.
Quick shout out to our hashtag Lady Aguilas, who unfortunately have their campaign stopped at the semifinals. Unfortunately for them, they say they have the same fate as the men's squad. Last apertura when they faced Tigres, our Lady Aguilas end up losing with a global score of 4-2, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think it was 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2. The Lady Aguilas unfortunately will not be going to the final. It's gonna be a Clásico Regio, so that's unfortunate. But hopefully they can pick themselves up, they can rebuild, and they can go moving forward. So keep your heads up, Lady Aguilas, and we'll keep hashtagging it so you guys can keep going forward and keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, a title will come our way. So that pretty much does it for a little shout outs. Actually, no, we have one last thing to talk about right before we close the show. We had a Twitter poll. This is why I'm telling you guys it's so important for you guys to follow us on Twitter because we do practically all our messages, all our information, all our news on that source. So make sure you guys do follow us again at Eagle Eye Pod. I'll shut up about that and just go over there and follow us. We did a Twitter poll because we kind of had this idea of having a trivia night for you guys, for you, the listeners, for you, the people who follow us on our account. We would have a trivia night, and we don't know exactly what day. It'd probably be a Monday, Wednesday. Regardless, we'll pick a day and we'll set it, in which the account will tweet out a picture of a player that plays for America or has played for America throughout the years, and you guys can have fun and take a wild guess to see who's the player, and then we'll give it a couple minutes, and then we'll retweet it with the right answer, and then kind of go off of there. We'll decide whether there's some point-based system or not. But this is just for fun. We were doing this in our group chat that we have on with a couple of listeners, and they enjoyed it as well. I enjoyed it too because I was kind of the one throwing out the pictures at you guys. And it's very sad that you guys only got 1 out of 3 players, but that's a discussion for another day. But it was fun.
I think I'm an exception.
And what?
I think I'm an exception. You're throwing out some because since I'm a pretty young America fan, I didn't recognize 2 of the players.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone 1988 on you guys, but I didn't.
No, you didn't. Especially for me.
I did early 2000s. And this is something that we think could be fun to interact with all of you guys. That's it would be an interesting thing, and hopefully you guys do like it. And we'll tweet it out, and hopefully you guys can join us for that. So make sure you guys do end up going over there because we're gonna have a trivia night. Last time I checked, it was at 84% said yes, they want a trivia night. And we'll see. We'll kind of work it out and let you guys know. So thank you guys for voting, and it should be fun. I can't wait. I have already a couple players in mind that I feel like would be a little tough to recognize, but yeah, pretty much. I just want to give you guys a heads up that we're gonna have a little trivia night now going on at the Eagle iPod Twitter page. So again, make sure you guys do follow us on there. But with that said, Dylan, is there anything else you want to add on?
Just thanks for all the support again, guys. I mean, everything that you've done, just giving us the follow, just giving us a listen, it means so much to us, guys. And just get ready for that giveaway. Me and Ivan are ironing out the details still about that, but we'll get that going. And so, just thanks for everything, guys.
Thank you guys so much, and shout out to the Liga MX English community as we grow a little bit more. I know we added a couple more accounts to our family, so shout out to you guys for making the leap forward, and we everyone here is gonna welcome you guys with open arms, and should be interesting to see how we can collaborate moving forward. So that's pretty fun. But most of all, thank you guys to all of you who have listened to this episode and all the previous episodes, and follow us on Twitter and just kind of support us and kind of keep us going and move forward, because at the end of the day, we do this for you guys, so you guys have a voice, and this podcast is as much as yours as it is ours, and we just kind of want to give back to the community in whatever way we can. So with that said, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been episode 17 of the Eagle Eye podcast. As always, thank you, Mr. Dylan, for coming out and co-hosting with me.
No problem, man. I enjoy this.
I enjoy this just as well. It gets the blood pumping and it gets the Tuesdays going fairly well. So,
yes, the Tuesdays are my slow days, and so I look forward to this. It makes the time go by faster for me.
It does, and hopefully it makes the time go by faster to our listeners as well. And hopefully they enjoy this just as much as we do. So, with that said, thank you to every single one of you guys who listened, who have been listening and following us. We want to thank you. We'll see you guys very, very soon next week, as always, here on YouTube. And as always, we have those live tweets coming up. It should be interesting because next week we'll have everything you need to know about our Liga matchup and whether or not we think we can get past our first opponent. But first of all, we got to get that W against Santos. So we will be live tweeting all of that, and we will be seeing you guys on Saturday. So with that said, thank you so much. It's been episode 17 of the Eagle Eye podcast. Arriba la América, América por la 13. And what can I say? Let's keep going. Let's keep fighting, boys. Until next time, guys. Take care.